Hello everyone, here is Shigo from Ichorium Incorporated, and today I will show you how to use our inventory system to create some more basic and more advanced inventory system. So let's get started. First thing what you should do is create a new empty game object, rename it to database, and attach an inventory database script. Okay, so let's create now the UI root. I recommend 3D, it's easier to operate with our system. Name it as you want. So for example, inventory root UI. Okay, so we have our UI. And what we shall do now? We should create some textures. And where's the way? Okay. Texture. In that order. That alone texture we should rename to as we want. For example, our inventory. Second texture shall be named slot demo. Slot demo 3 shall be named icon. That texture shall be named mouse slot, and the last texture should be named icon again. So we created the base UI of our inventory, but it will not work. I recommend to move that slot away from the center of the screen as our inventory too. So what should we do now? To our inventory we should attach a drawer script. Don't look at these errors, it will be the script later. To slot demo we should attach slot script, to mouse slot 2, and to icon we should attach icon renderer script. Icon renderer says how huge will be this icon for this parent slot. So when we will set to 0.9 and our slot will have 100 pixels, our icon will have 90 pixels. 100 multiplied by 0.9 equals 90. So now we should edit our inventory. It's pretty simple. It only looks bad. Here we have texture of our inventory. So let's find something like metal. No. Use this. Oh, this will be fine. Offset is the position from the left bottom edge of this panel where the inventory will be located. So set it for example to 1010. Columns is how many columns we have inventory. Rows is how many rows we have inventory. Slot weight is the weight of our slot, so set it to 100. Slot comparison system. If you will use the month compared, then month's width will be multiplied by this value, and you will receive it in pixels and will be set to the part of your monitor. Horizontal slot distance is the distance between slots in horizontal dimensions, so I recommend set it to 9. Vertical 2. Border, you can have border in different types. In one dimension, where each edge of the border will have that same value. In 2 dimensions, where bottom and top edge will have that same value, left and right edge will have that same value. In 4 dimensions, where each border will have different value. We'll use 2dim actually. It's the best. Set it to 10 and 20 for example. And this is this player inventory will help we later when we will be creating our player. Don't render your inventory at this moment. Why? Because that slot and that inventory haven't set anchors. Set anchors to unified. Inventory should have anchors set to the inventory UI root, left, left, bottom and bottom. So it will help you very much. Slot will have also unified anchors and set it to inventory. Left, left, bottom and bottom. Also, you can see that canvas name is missing here. So set the canvas, copy its name into inventory canvas name. Now we will be able to render our inventory. So let's try. Voila! Our inventory is rendered. So, what should we do with our inventory now? When we have it. So, maybe we should create it more usable. So, let's create our first item. Jump into database. ID 0 should be used for the empty item, so we should create new item by clicking the next item or add new item. Item identification data should be set to 1. We should open our item information. We should set our item name as we want, for example, cube. Item type ID is only usable by custom scripts and you should use it. It will be easier for you to set your item. So for example, set it to tile.block.cube. And for it we will create our game object for this item. So we will use that cube. Let's back into database and set item UUID, item unified ultra identification data. So set it for example for 1. Max stack is how many items you can hold in one slot. So set it to 5 for example. And weight is how one piece of this item weighs. For example, one item will weigh 1 kilogram, 5 items will weigh 5 kilograms. And item texture. So we can use our gold. But not that gold. Not texture but sprite. Convert it. Thank you. Now we can back to the database. Oh, it will look good. Subtype is used by item, and when slot have custom subtype, then this item will not land in the slot when the slot subtype is different than this. It's very hard to understand mechanics. But we want to make an item pickable by player. So we should add to our player an equipment system and number it to our inventory INID 12. INID is the most important thing here because it sets our inventory and uses it. Drop position will be an empty game object attached to player and place some in front of it. Script is just a different mechanics. it will be explained later. And EQ max weight is how many kilograms can our player hold, so set it for 10. Okay. Now we want to make this item pickable by player. So attach to it and pick up item script and add a pickup key and set the key, for example, to x. It's only my function to use this script and duplicate that item. Open again database and set database reference to it. Okay, so we will use this item to be pickable. We can use some texture to make it easier. And we will set this. UUID of item is the UID of item in our database. So our item have UUID1 here. So we should use here 1, 2. Amount of item means how much of our item lands off ground. So set it, for example, to 3. Equipment system init is the init where the item will be added. Our init equals 12. So let's try to use it. Yeah, it's added, but we can't move it in our inventory. So you want to make it movable. So set a slot demo, add component. If you use an GUI, you will have a event trigger. On press, select the database. Database have slot event script attached to. Click replace with mouse slot. That's why we have it. And as the argument, set this slot component. And now, when we will pick that item, we should be able to move it. But what we did wrong? We did wrong here. Our box collider is too small to move that item. As you can see, you need to click that miniature box collider. It's almost impossible. So fix that quickly. In slot demo texture, you can click auto adjust to match in UI texture, and now our collider will be fixed automatically. So pick this cube, and now we can replace it. I will add to our mouse slot a small script. Mouse follow. So now if we will pick our item, it will follow with mouse. But sometimes it's not working perfectly. This slot forgot to remove texture. But why it's not moving? It often hates me. Mouse slot is in correct position, but we should move it some forward. On the 5 position. It should fix that problem. Come on, cube. Nope. Unity, what are you doing? You hate me. Why you are not working? Why? Okay, no comment. It's working. But I forgot to set this. My mistake. As you can see, it follows your mouse very quickly. And here we can disable our box collider. And now it will work fine. So we create our fifth simple inventory. Now we can look at more advanced inventory options. In drawer, you have advanced tab when you have some different options. Do not draw inventory automatically. We disable automatically drawing of your inventory. How it will work? Actually, inventory is drawing in that method. But when you use it, inventory will be not drawn. You need to set up it by your hands. Blank drawer texture disables this texture in your drawer. So it will look like this. Drawer custom slot is a custom slot for drawer, and drawer will not use the demo slot, which is here. Useful, but sometimes not. Hashcode is a special value which will be used by custom scripts. Custom width and custom height are the custom width and custom height of your drawer. So set it to 100 by 100. What we will get here? It is 100 by 100. But don't use it actually at this moment. Slot settings. It's a very advanced system. We'll take a look at it later. We should use the refresh settings in Sen, and the inventory will be drawn in Sen. So it's just your quick view how this inventory will look. So for the slot 0, we can use custom slot position and set it to -5, -5. And refresh. It's moved -5 and -5 from the point 0, point 0 of your drawer. For slot 1, we can use custom rotation and set it to 30, 30. And refresh. It's now rotated 50 degrees in each side. 50 degrees in X and 50 degrees in Y dimension. When you set Y to 0 and refresh, it will be rotated only in X dimension. For slot 2, we can use custom texture of slot. We can use that for example and click refresh. For slot 3, we can use custom slot subtype, which means that we have slot subtype, for example, ingot box, and set our item subtype to gold ingot. And what will it mean? And when you are drawing your inventory in Sen, you need to set drawer background to -1 behind the slots, because script doesn't support that. Now we can pick up our cube and we can place it in that slot, because subtype is frog. Going forward, we can take a look at the fourth slot. We can use subtype bundle. We can add two subtypes, and first, for example, can be gold about ingot box and gold ingot. And for first 5 side, we can set do not render slot with this index. Refresh, and our 5 slot disappeared. Why index is 5? Because this slot have index 0. And this slot will not accept our ingot, but this will. What? This have also some subtype. But this slot have two subtypes, and two types of items can be placed in it. In that one, you can place only one type of item, which isn't our ingot. Now we want to set player item which actually he's holding in hand. So add the hand script and hotbar script. Hotbar hasn't set drawer, so we should use our inventory on it. And now this hotbar will use this inventory as its values, as its background, and player will have only items from this inventory and not other. In the hand, we need to set hotbar and equip position. Other things which we can set is auto render objects. So when the object will land in hand, it will be automatically rendered. So we can try it. But we should move our drop pos some here. Oh. It's rendered to our position. Pretty good. Fix the drop pos. Okay. Something longer. Okay. Now you can take a look at abilities. This window. With abilities, you can set values for other scripts which will be used by your item. Here, in the item landing in the ground, you can set that when you pick up this item, it will use only abilities from the item on ground, add abilities from ground to the database abilities. The item will have only abilities, or item will have only database abilities. So we can set it to database option, and in database we can set the abilities options, and we can set 3 abilities for our item. zero ability or null ability will be string ability. Ability name will say hello world or player name, and name will be set to Carlos. Second ability can be set to int, health, and health will be set to 100. Next ability can be set also to float, bool, long is supported only by Unity 5, object, texture, sprite, or game object, database, object, and we can set here our database. And this ability should be removed. Or set to null. Now we can pick up that item in game, and let's see what will happen. In slot 1-1 we have item with all of our abilities. Pretty good. Any ability functions are described in our database. For example, have ability returns true if object have ability of that type. But what are that subtypes? Here in the slot you can set your subtype. For example, this slot we hold only hello world subtype. And let's see what will happen when we try to pick up our box. It's not set to this slot because this slot can't hold that item. Pretty good. You can also use subtype bundles from advanced menu. You can add subtypes to bundles and set it also, for example, to subtype 1, subtype 2, and gold inode. And now what will happen? We have 3 subtypes. It will add our item only if one of the subtypes in bundle equals subtype of our item. That we can place many types of item in one slot. Now we can take a look at the multi-drawer attachment. So attach it to our drawer. Here console. This script is actually very wide, also known as really unworking because it's work in progress. So background amount set to 4 because it's work in progress. It's throwing thousands of errors, but it's working. Never change that value, and here you can set inits for your backgrounds. So for background 1 we can set 12, for background 2 we can set 23. No, it will not work. Why? Here is the reason. Because this drawer will not take a look at this multi-drawer script. We can change it and try to test it. Also known as throwing thousands of errors. For background 0, it will work. For background 1, as you see, our inventory item disappeared. It will work. for background 2, it will not work. Why? Because our background 2 have different init than our equipment system. So it will not take. Hotbar says that drawer shouldn't be a multi-drawer, but it will be accepted by it. But sometimes can throw something unclear errors. But we at this moment want to bug into the first inventory. Set it to 1. We can place our item, set it to 0, replace this item, set it to 1, and our item will be in that same place. So it's useful, but at this moment it is throwing some errors that are not meaning something very important. Thus, you need to clear the console and don't take a look at it. Now we can take a look into the crafting system. We can use our crafting GUI, add normal crafting device, use ingredients drawer mode and results drawer mode, set our drawers, fix drawers, it will be automatically attached slots, and create a simple recipe. Gold inode. Set shapeless is set ingredients as 1 1 and results at 1 1 and 1 1. So from one item of UID 1 we retrieve 2 items of UID 1 plus a replicating crafting. But it will not work because we can't use our craft key. I love the mono behavior when it can't understand sometimes. Now for the craft key you can set n. Let's try to use that device. We can pick gold inode, add it here, and we saved 2 gold inodes. But we don't want to see how it works. We can see here how many inodes we have. My precious script maybe is bugged now. So pause. And when we want to see what's wrong, we can add to this slot and GUI label. Make its size much bigger. The font size is some big value. A lot. font, resize it to bigger and even rotate it. And add a component called amount of slot and attach slot of this right 0 true, but not true, and set alignment to right. Now what we can see when we pick up, that the Unity hates me again. Unity, why you are doing that? Because of that? No, not because of that. Annoying. It should work. Why it's not working? No matter of that. Same time this unit is doing really untypical things. But maybe we should try to do that. And use this. Unity don't want that slot. So now it works. I will not try with these slots, it's not important. Here we have 3 good inos, what we pick from the ground. And now we can multiply it to 2, each of them. Now there shall be 1 inode. So let's try. Okay, now we have that values and we can test it. Here we have 3 inodes, and one inode multiplies into 2 inodes. We can move it easily. Here we have 2 inodes. Maybe the graphic system is actually also work in progress, which means might work or might not work. Sometimes it's working, sometimes not. Actually, at this moment, I'm fixing it, and the DX release is working fine. Okay, now we have that values, and we can test it. Here we have 3 inodes, and one inode multiplies into 2 inodes. We can move it easily. Here we have 2 inodes. Maybe the graphic system is actually also work in progress, which means might work or might not work. Sometimes it's working, sometimes not. Actually, at this moment, I'm fixing it, and the DX release is working fine. So that's how this inventory system is working, and see you later, guys.